Hello everyone, Jonathan Meek here with Clear to Close, and today we're going to tackle two major things. One is the third phase of the residential real estate closing process, which is ordering the documents, and the second one is I'm going to put on a suit to prove that I'm an attorney. Today, when we go through this process, I'm going to take you through the acronym TLC to get us through it. So the first thing is going to be the T for title search, the second thing is going to be the L for lender's documents, and the third is going to be the C for the closing package as a whole. So as a residential real estate closing attorney, I would like to be the one to tell you that I believe that the title search is the absolute most important part of the residential real estate transaction. Now, the reason I think this is the most important part is mainly because this is how good title is transferred between buyer and seller. We're going to be the ones that take a look back at the history of the property. We're going to take a look back and make sure that the chain of title isn't broken. We are going to make sure that every transfer has happened in lockstep and that there's no person that could come into the middle of the transaction and claim that the property is actually theirs because something happened incorrectly in the transferring of the property. The next thing that we're going to do is take a look at the current present status of the property. And what that means is we're going to look at what encumbrances or what issues or what easements or what restrictions might be occurring on that property as it sits right now to see if there are any new easements or any new restrictions that we need to be aware of before transferring it to the next person. The next step is going to be to take a look at the actual encumbrances on the property. Typically, these are the monetary encumbrances on the property. These are the ones that we're going to have to pay off in order to transfer the property from one person to the other. We need to make sure that we can actually transfer clear title by paying off all of the liens, all of the loans, all of the mortgages that are currently attached to a property. So what this typically is made up of is the first mortgage or the first and second mortgage. There are also other things that might show up like judgment liens, tax liens, those types of things, and I'll be getting into those in a much greater detail in another video. But we need to, as title searchers, take a look at the property, look into it to make sure that the property as it sits right now at the time of your transaction is going to be able to move from person to person without leaving anything behind. Once we've completed the title search, the next thing is to start working with the bank to get the lender's documents created. Now, we as the title searchers, the title company, or the attorneys, depending on the state that you're in, are going to then take the information that we have about the property, hand it off to the bank, and then we're going to collaborate with the bank to make sure that we have all of the documents necessary for closing. What that means typically is we're going to be working on the closing disclosure. This is the main document that has become part of the residential real estate transaction process. Whenever there's a loan involved, the new laws under TRID and Respatilla have created this document called the closing disclosure, where it shows how all of the money comes into the transaction and all of the money goes out of the transaction, and it talks about how the loan works. You see, it's my job as the attorney to go ahead and get all of the documents coordinated with the lender. So we're going to be working with them the entire time to make sure that all of the documents that are required for you to sign when you get to closing are ready to go at the time of closing. And what that means is we're going to work with them to balance the numbers on the closing disclosure. We're going to work with them to make sure that all of the names and vesting and all of those documents are correct on the deed of trust. And then we're going to coordinate with them to make sure that the final closing package is one that they're going to accept once we've taken it and gotten it signed by you as the buyer. Once we've ordered the documents from the lender and we've combined efforts to get the documents prepared and ready to go, it's now time for us to put together the C portion of this, which is the closing package. The closing package is not only going to be the documents from the buyer side of the transaction, but we also have a few documents that need to be created on the seller side. We're going to be the ones that create the deed, the lien waiver, the 1099, and any other transactional documents that are required by the seller. Once those documents are completed, we're going to get you over to the next phase of this, which is signing the documents. All right, so I hope we accomplished everything today that we set out to accomplish. First, I wanted to make sure that you knew that I was an attorney and I actually do dress in suits every once in a while. And two, that when we get your transaction in the ordering the documents phase of the residential real estate closing transaction, we are going to give it that TLC treatment. We're going to order the title documents T, we are going to get the lender's documents L, and we are going to get that closing package together C. So please, if you like the content that you heard on today's episode, please hit that like button. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and get subscribed, because we're going to be putting out 2 other short videos very soon to make sure that you know how to close out the rest of the 5 stages. We're going to get to signing the documents next and then get you entered onto that property as soon as possible. So until then, I'll see you again on Clear to Close.